praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yah by way of Yahushua HaMashiach. John 5:39. All right, it says, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Oh, that's cool, bet. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 32. One of the things we talked about in Deuteronomy 32, is he said the spot of his children were not the same as the spot of others. One part that we did gloss over, I don't know if I can work it in this afternoon, but we will see. That's where he said that how he bought us and that he had established us and made us. So we mentioned last night in Matthew 7, how he say, if you hear his sayings and do them, you're likened to a man who's built his house upon a rock. And the thing that we mentioned is he said, wisdom and understanding is your faith, it is your strength, which will lead to the fear of Yah, which leads to your treasure or your riches of righteousness that he has to give. In Proverbs 8, he said he got revenues that are better than fine gold. That's why he say, wherever you lay your treasure at, your heart will be also, and for you not to lay up treasures here on the earth. Everybody seeks to want to have things in this life, no matter what it is, because everybody defines success differently, and everybody desires different things. You know what I'm saying? But if our desire and our treasure is not on high, it's going to be for nothing, because you're going to stand before this man and your vessel is going to be empty. See, since I'm talking about them treasures in that instance, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 12 real quick, about verse 5, so you can see what some of them treasures be. Because Paul also made this statement in 1 Corinthians, well, actually, he actually says that at the bottom of this chapter. I apologize. First Corinthians chapter 12 and make it verse 4. He said, now there are diversity of gifts, but the same Ruach, and there are differences of administrations, but the same Master. There are diversities of operations, but it's the same Elohim, which work all in all. Is that somebody at that door? Oh, I'm tripping. But the manifestation of the Ruach is to give unto every man to profit withal. For to one is given by the Ruach the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Ruach, to another faith by the same Ruach, to another gifts of healing by the same Ruach. Yeah, somebody is at that door. To another working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of Ruachs, to another diverse kinds of tongues, to another interpretation of tongues. So these are the treasures that we able to sit back and be able to see. The treasure of wisdom, the treasure of faith, words of knowledge, healing, prophecy, discerning of spirits, and diverse kinds of tongues. These are the things that we ought to treasure, because these are the things that Yahuwah gives. If we don't pay attention to those things, then we have a problem, because we're actually desiring the wrong things. Nevertheless, Deuteronomy 32. Like, when you sit back and think about it, I would hope by this point in time, none of y'all have probably said those things. But how many times do you hear people actually ask Yah to bless them with spiritual treasures versus treasures that are tangible and earthly that you can touch, see, and smell? You know what I'm saying? You very rarely see anybody praise Yah for anything spiritual that they consider to be of value. It's always natural things. I thank Yah for my wife. I thank Yah for my husband, for my kids, as you should, or for my new house, or my new car, or my new job. You know what I'm saying? It's very few dudes that say, I thank Yah for discerning the spirit. I thank Yah for wisdom, or for understanding, or for knowledge. You know what I'm talking about? You have very few people that are thanking for persecution and tribulations, if it's actually real, because you can't tell none of these niggas that they not being persecuted. All these niggas swear they being persecuted. Ain't nobody 9 times out of 10 niggas screaming they persecuted. Nigga, you done did some foul stuff and a nigga telling you about it, or a nigga don't agree with you. So now because someone doesn't agree with you, you being persecuted. You know what I'm talking about? Or because somebody has rebuked you, you being persecuted. Or dudes, or like the matter of fact, that was Will cousin, matter of fact. When they were down there in Him and Plaza, this years ago though, screaming, hey Esau to the police, and when they said F the police and the police locked him up, now he being persecuted. No, you're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Because you were intentionally trying to provoke this man to get a reaction out of him. Then when you got the reaction, now you saying you were persecuted. That man wasn't thinking about you. That man wasn't bothering you. How many people can say you were persecuted for saying or standing for what was right all the way through? That being persecuted. How many people say you've been called a devil and you ain't did nothing wrong? At no time of passion, period. In that particular situation with that particular person, that being persecuted. But you know, that's another story for another day. We're in verse what? 14. Deuteronomy 32 and 14. Butter of kine, milk of sheep, with fat of lambs and the rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the fat of kidneys of wheat. And thou did drink the pure blood of the grape. But Yeshurun waxed fat. Hey, little Mike. And kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook Elohim which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. So now, does anybody know anywhere in the text where we can read exactly what he is talking about here? Because there's an example of this. This man say that Yeshurun has waxed fat, and that because he got all of these great things, he forsook the Elohim that made him, going back to about verse 7 in this very same chapter, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. No, that ain't Solomon. Solomon didn't wax fat and kick. And when he's saying Yeshurun, he talking about the whole house of Yasharal. Got on and said, screw that nigga. I don't know that nigga. We balling on these niggas. Who is he? Let's look at it in Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 1.
I was thinking about wax, because when you said wax, I thought the abundance of wealth he got, and then he ended up worshiping the idols.
No, he ended up worshiping idols because he wanted to please his wives. That's what got him in trouble. Nothing got him in trouble. That's why the book always, and this is why I've told y'all that numerous times, this is why the book always talk about not having certain dealings with sinners, because because of the love that you may have for them, you'll go against Yah for them. That's why he always told you not to marry the other nations. It had nothing to do with their nationality. If you're dealing with a woman, she a Jehovah's Witness, and you love this woman, then it's quite natural that it's quite possible that you will compromise what you believe in because of the love that you have for this woman. You know what I'm saying? And it's vice versa. You know what I'm saying? If that woman loves this man, then she could very well compromise what she believes in because of the love that she has for this man. And I don't care how mentally strong anybody thinks they are. If you really love somebody, there's a strong chance you could do things that you shouldn't do for them. You know what I'm talking about? And even outside the word, people do that every day. How many chicks you know carry narcotics or cover up stuff for they dude? She's not no criminal, but she love this nigga. You know what I'm talking about? So she willing to do that. You know what I'm talking about? It's something that he's not a killer. Let somebody put their hands on this woman or put his hands on it. You love these people, you don't do something for them. So what does Solomon want to do? I want to keep my wives happy. So if that make her happy, then go ahead and build that asteroid pole. It ain't gonna hurt nobody. He ain't thinking. You know what I'm saying? But hold on. Where's that wax fat? Let's see what we get for that. When you got the word for wax fat, it's just shaman, which is to grow fat or to become fat or gross, or just to grow, to become bigger. We got Ezekiel 16 and 1 though. Dang it, I hate when that happens. I ain't even around there yet. When it said that he lightly esteemed them, that name is Nabal. He said you're foolish and you're senseless. You ain't got no sense. You ain't got no brain. So they foolishly departed from Yah. And that is a very foolish thing to depart from Yah. There's no wisdom in that. No wisdom in it at all. And I wish I wouldn't have done that. Ezekiel 16 and 1 though. It says, again, the word of Yahuwah came again unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations. And say, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim unto Jerusalem, thy birth and nativity is of the land of Canaan, Thy father was an Amorite, and thy mother a Hittite. And as for thy nativity in the day that thou was born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to supple thee. Thou was not salted at all, nor slaughtered at all. None I pitied thee to do any of these unto thee, to have compassion upon thee, but thou was cast into an open field to the loathing of thy person in the day that thou was born. So Paul, let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 7 and look what he tell you about that. He said that nobody pity you, didn't nobody love you, ain't nobody care nothing about you. It's Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Because at the end of the day, when you were in Egypt, nobody had no pity on you. Nobody didn't care about nothing that you were going on. You transport that now to this very day. And nobody cares absolutely nothing about you and what you got going on. So I told the brother told me, he said, we're just such a hopeless, dependent, blank people, this, that, there, and the third. Because you're supposed to be dependent on Yah, and that's the only person who you won't depend on. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to depend on one another, which is good. I have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? But then you say, oh, we depended on the nations, when the text says that that's exactly what would happen. You know what I'm saying? That the thing that is the hypocrisy for me. You can't use those same verses to tell people they're an Israelite and say these the curses that are on them, and then get upset about the condition that you point out to people to show that, oh, you the people of this book. Because the man word ain't coming back void. You're supposed to be dependent on these people because you refuse to be dependent on Yah. So since you want to be dependent on their gods, I'll make you dependent on them. That's what he said. He said, since you wanted to serve strange God in your land, you will serve gods in a land which you have not known, and the people of them. That was your choice. You chose that. So then you can't get upset and mad about a decision and choice that you made. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to learn from that decision and not continually make the same decisions over and over again. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art a Kadesh people unto Yahuwah Elohim. Yahuwah Elohim have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Yahuwah did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for you were the fewest of all people, but because Yahuwah loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, have Yahuwah brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Is there anybody that you can think of that was taken and polluted, well, not polluted in his own blood, but nobody pitied him, to have no compassion on him, and they cast him out to the loathing of that person? That's what exactly happened. So let's go look at Genesis 37. Because remember what we're looking at is he said that they lightly esteemed the rock of their salvation when they grew in a little bit of wealth, when they attained a little bit of things. We're in Genesis chapter 37. We'll pick it up probably about verse 17. And the man said, they are departed hence, for I heard them say, let us go to Dothan. Yosef went after his brethren and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. And they said one to another, behold, this dreamer come. Come now therefore, and let us slay him, and let us cast him into some pit. And we will say, some evil beast have devoured him, and we shall see what become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, let us not kill him. Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. Came to pass, when Yosef was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Yosef out of his coat of many colors that was on him. They took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty, and there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites from Gilead, with their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Mizraim. And Yehudah said unto his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? So then we know what after that, they ended up selling him. But they loathed their brother, and they cast him out to the loathing because they hated him. So now they felt like they had done wax fat. You know why they felt they waxed fat? Because they were before him. And then their father loved him more than he loved the rest of them. So now they have done fool. Because remember, lightly esteemed is just in a ball. They've now done foolishly in their work. because they sought to kill their brother, and then they sold their brother. You know what I'm saying? Now we know that Joseph's name is representative of taking away sin. That's what it means. You know what I'm talking about? So they lightly esteeming the rock of their salvation. Because what we also know further go down the line, what does Joseph end up doing in the end? Saving them. You know what I'm talking about? So they did foolishly against him because they hated him. Now we know that we're dealing with that rock, that's the desire for the head. He ends up being the head of all of them because he was head, and technically the birthright went to him. But in actuality, in reality, according to 1 Chronicles chapter 5, the birthright went to Judah. You know what I'm talking about? But technically it's supposed to have been the race. So I give you an example. I was talking to these brothers this morning. Well, Brandon ain't here because he said he couldn't make it here. And he just like to throw stuff out there to his homeboys about stuff that we done went over in the past, because he said because they talk about theology and this, that, there, and the third, and hermeneutics, and why they don't know about this, that, there, and the third. So you know what topic that they he threw at them? The topic that some of y'all like to throw at people because it's so far out to the thoughts, the concept of the average mind, is that Mashiach is male and female and he gave birth. As many that individuals hear that, they look at it in a natural sense, like you're saying that he's a hermaphrodite. You know what I'm saying? They're totally forgetting that the law says that he made man male and female, meaning that the woman was taken out of the man, therefore the first man was male and female because the female came out of the man. That's common sense. You know what I'm saying? And therefore that Yahusha's wife comes out of him the same way that Adam's wife came out of him. But see, then on the birth part, hello Abigail. So then on the birth part, it goes like this. When we look at it, who in this book died giving childbirth?
Isaac's wife?
Rebecca did not die giving childbirth. Rachel died giving childbirth. And who did she die giving birth to?
Benjamin.
And what does Benjamin's name mean?
Son of my right.
So when we turn around and we look at Yahusha, and then does anybody know what Rachel's name means? Rachel's name simply means a lamb, a lamb to be specific. Her Mashiach is called what? The Lamb of Elohim, that was slain for the sins of the world. So you see a lamb dying in the process of giving birth to birth sons of Yah's right hand. So then we turn around and we see Mashiach dying, basically being Rachel, because what does Revelation 3 tell us? That if we overcome, we will sit at his right hand as he is sat down at Yahuwah's right hand. So when he is actually dying, because he's been hit in his side, the symbolized birth, and now the blood and water comes out for him to be able to give birth unto children, meaning us being born to be the sons and daughters of Elohim, we see him doing what Rachel did. Him end up at the end of the day being the rock of our salvation, because who was Joseph's mother? Rachel. You know what I'm talking about? And that's the one that Jacob loved the most. He was her firstborn. That's why he loved Joseph the most. It's not that he necessarily didn't love Leah. He just loved Rachel more than Leah. You know what I'm talking about? And at the end of the day, if you actually pay attention to the few things that they're mentioned, you can see why. Because Rachel was a lot more of a soldier than Leah was, based on what is written. Because Rachel took her daddy's idols and hid them. You know what I'm talking about? Rachel did a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? As forth for standing firm on things. That's not to say that Rachel did not, but it's not documented. I mean, that Leah did not, it's not documented. You know what I'm talking about? But the thing is somebody say, oh, you said he gave birth, and they actually click it in their brain of a woman with her legs open pushing out a baby. You know what I'm saying? But you have to understand that that's how the carnal mind works. That's how the carnal mind is going to view it. If somebody hears that, they're not going to sit back and think we are born, because the text says we're born of him. So if we're born of him, how did he birth you? He had to be able to be born of someone. I mean, because he's a man, so you can't be born of a man. You know what I'm talking about? If you're born of a man, it's going to say that you are of his seed. It doesn't say he's born of his father. You won't read that nowhere. When it says born of somebody, it always references the woman. You know what I'm talking about? And that's the part they're missing, because he has to be both to be Adam. And what all that is to say is that this here is that we should strive to die to become sons of Elohim like he did. It's really the whole point that many people overlook. That's what we were talking about last night. If the honey come out the rock and the oil and the water come out the rock, then this is coming out based off of a sacrifice of a man for you to attain eternal life. And that even the thing we looked at with the manna, if the manna is held up to the Sabbath, it's come out twice as much on the 6th day, and that no manna come on the Sabbath. There was no sacrifice on the Sabbath. Mashiach had already been laid out on the 6th day. And then it says that manna will not stink nor smell on the 7th day, and Mashiach is not stinking or smelling. That means he didn't see corruption and he resurrected from the dead, telling you that if you die in him, even though your natural body, just like we ended with Job 19, where he said, even after I die and worms destroy this body, I'll see Elohim in my flesh. So then you still haven't seen a worm or a stink, because you're not seeing it in the lake where the worm dies not and the fire shall not be quenched. So what does that give you? That gives you hope to maintain and stand on the word that you might receive a better resurrection. That's it. That's the point. But what do? We hate those things that he had to offer. Like we mentioned, those spiritual gifts in 1 Corinthians 12. Men hate those things. They don't want them. You know what all men really want is rule and a name. They don't want the things that be Elohim. But that's another story for another time. Let's swing back to let's go to Matthew 22. Let's look at Matthew 22, man. Oh, 21 actually. 21 and 33. They get to that point of them dealing foolishly with the rock of their salvation, dealing foolishly. I seen somebody say something this morning, man, and that's real talk. Do you notice that when people who stand for right, that they don't honor them when they're alive, but as soon as they're dead, they throw them up on a pedestal and say how great they are? And they do that because you know these people were telling the truth while they were living. You didn't want to acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying? They love Malcolm X now that he dead. I'm talking about white people. They love Pac now that he dead. You know what I'm saying? But while they were alive, they despised these people because of the things that they said. And it's many other. Look at, man, the people hated Yahushua when he was alive. Now all of a sudden they done took this man, whitewashed him, distorted his message, and made him this, that, then, and the third, and throw him in your face. But if he was alive, they would hate him. They would hate him because he was telling the truth. Because people don't like when people tell the truth. I don't care what nobody says. People don't like it. They don't like it. It's not the thing that people like. Nobody don't want to be, people don't like to be held accountable. People don't like things that destroy their illusions or that will stop their desires. And that's why they will kill you. They would have killed him no matter what time of dispensation of time it is, because they've been killing the prophets since the foundation of the world. So they would have killed him. They would have killed him during his time. They would have killed him before his time. They would have killed him 100 years after. They definitely kill him now. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you can't walk around. Some people feel like Jesus never spoke against homosexuality. Just because it ain't written down, it's in the law, so you know he wasn't with it. You know what I'm saying? That man ain't with none of that stuff none of you niggas got going on. I heard a brother say something real. The brother say crime is just a code word for sin. And that's all it really is, because any crime that a man could commit, it's a sin. Any crime you can come up with and you can think about, it's a sin. It's against God's word. I don't care what it is. Fraud, sin because you're stealing and you're lying. You know what I'm talking about? Homosexuality, I mean, let's say that rape, clearly, we already know that. That's in our law. That's a sin. You know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to think of anything else. Clearly, murder. I can't think of too much in it because, I mean, outside of drug dealing, and you know you ain't got no business fooling that anyway because you using that for pleasure. So you out of cast on that. But nobody don't like to look at these things because all of the things that people do is evidence of what's in their heart. What's in your heart has caused you to do the things that you do. Nevertheless, 21 and 33. Another parable, there was a certain householder which planted a vineyard and hedged in round about and digged a winepress in it and built a tower and let it out to husbandmen and went into a far country. When the time of the fruit drew near, he sent his servants to the husbandmen that they might receive the fruits of it. The husbandman took his servants and beat one and killed another and stoned another. Again, he sent other servants more than the first, and they did unto them likewise. But the last of all he sent unto them his son, saying, they will reverence my son. But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, this is the heir, come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance. And they caught him and cast him out of the vineyard and slew him. And when the master therefore of the vineyard come, what will he do unto those husbandmen? They say unto him, he will miserably destroy those wicked men, and will let out his vineyard unto other husbandmen, which shall render him the fruits in their seasons. Yahushua saith unto them, did you never read in the scriptures, the stone which the builders rejected, the same has become the head of the corner. This is Yahuwah's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Now remember, he said they foolishly dealt with the rock of their esteem, the rock of their salvation. They rejected it. They dealt foolishly with it. We kind of read about that last night in Nehemiah chapter 9. And if we look at how we move, we deal very, very foolishly when it comes to our salvation. We don't really realize how great a salvation has been offered to us because of the things that we desire, mainly because we feel like we done got to a certain point. Let's go back to Ezekiel 16 and look at the other stuff that he gave. Because we know what they did to Mashiach. They took him out there, they loathed him, and they threw him out there. Nobody had any pity on him at all. That's verse 5, right? He said, none pity thee to do any unto thee, to have compassion on thee. Thou was cast in an open field. And what that is that when he died and he was on that ground bleeding, that nobody cared nothing about him but Joseph of Arimathea. Nobody had no compassion on him to clean him up, to wrap him up, to bury him or nothing. They could care less. They didn't care too tough about him beforehand. Like when you go to serving Yah, it's a lonely road. You know what I'm talking about? Lonely road is the fourth as you. Matthew 7 said, by the fruits you gonna know them. So over a period of time, see, black people don't like to look at people's actions and deal with the fact that these niggas wicked. You know what I'm saying? You don't like to deal with that because you probably most of our people in the ancient days probably looked at certain people and didn't want to accept the fact that this nigga is this and this nigga is that, but this nigga is wicked though, and you gonna have to accept it. You know how many people probably got rejected before you sit back and look at it. Look at the nigga who got killed for not punching a man in the face. Some of y'all will feel like, well, why would he kill somebody for that? Because y'all told him to punch him in the face. He got a direct commandment and chose not to do it. We'll look at it as what type of God would kill somebody for not punching somebody in the face. The type of already knew that the heart of this man who did not believe and obey Yah to begin with. See, that's the part we won't look at. Is that clearly he didn't believe in Yah and obey Yah to begin with. Because as soon as he would have heard the word and voice of Yahuwah, he'd have slapped fire from cuz. With no hesitation. But y'all remember what the next dude did, didn't he? He hit him so hard he broke skin. Because that got his attention. You notice that when Saul got removed, that didn't get anybody's attention. When the majority of those wicked kings who we looked at, that didn't get anybody's attention to repent. Everybody kept doing what they were doing because they didn't care. Because wickedness is embraced, especially from people who claim to be righteous. It's embraced. Niggas look over it. You know what I'm saying? And you know what niggas want when they do wrong? See, they act like the Mashiach would just walk around hugging people saying, it's okay, baby, and kissing them on their forehead for being wicked. And he wasn't doing that. Do you know what I'm saying? Being merciful and being an enabler are two different things. You know what I'm saying? Those are two different things. Because an enabler is going to tell you it's okay and it's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Okay, like you mentioned what the brother was talking about that just died. You got an advocate. That's 1 John 2:1. You can look at it. Come on. Because that's a correct statement. Because he's speaking according to the text. Because you do. You know what I'm talking about? But your advocate is not excusing what you have done. And we'll look at a couple of examples of that. And I'm going to have to use my phone because Abigail has removed that page. I keep forgetting that. It's right here in 1 John 2:1. Say, my little children, these things write I unto you that you sin not. And if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Yahushua HaMashiach the righteous, and he is the propitiation for our sins, and not for ours only, but also for the sins of the whole world. Can anybody think of anybody that stood up and was an advocate for another person who had got caught in a sin of any type? Huh? Moses did do that. And Exodus. Can anybody think of anybody else? Who? Now she wasn't necessarily an advocate for him. She just asked him. She just asked him not to kill him. She asked David not to kill him. Like somebody, when an advocate, somebody who stands up on your behalf and intercedes, or intercessor, so to speak. Now you rightly mentioned Moses, but there's at least 2 others that I can think of, maybe even 3 or 4. Well, let's look at one in the 42nd chapter of Job.
Okay, would you say Joseph was?
Joseph was one. That's the 3rd one that was in my brain, because Joseph definitely did advocate that his brothers didn't get taken down when they came out what they did once they figured out who he was. The other one was Abraham, because he definitely was an advocate for Sodom and Gomorrah for the sins that were going on there. Moses, I didn't want to think about him because that is the obvious answer. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know Moses stood up in Exodus 32 on the behalf of the people to ask them not to be killed for worshiping and creating the golden calf. And there was one other one in his, and he just went away. I can't remember who he was. But the 42nd chapter of Job. 42 and 7. He said, and it was so that after Yahuwah had spoken these words unto Job, Yahuwah said unto Eliphaz the Temanite, my wrath is kindled against thee and against thy 2 friends, for you have not spoken of me the thing that is right, as my servant Job have. Now we know that Yahushua always spoke the things that were right. Therefore take unto you now 7 bullocks and 7 rams, and go to my servant Job, and offer up yourselves a burnt offering, and my servant Job shall pray for you. For him will I accept, lest I deal with you after your folly in the thing which you have not spoken of me, the thing which is right, like my servant Job. So Eliphaz the Temanite and Bildad the Shuhite and Zophar the Naamathite went and did according as Yahuwah commanded them, and Yahuwah also accepted Job. So we see this right this here. Job's friends sinned, did they not? Yahuwah's made that really very, very, very clear. But he said they had an advocate, because he just said that Job spoke the thing that was right. So y'all just said Job was righteous. And he was an advocate on their behalf because of their sin. And he interceded on their behalf. It's not that Yahuwah sat back. Nowhere in this exchange do you hear him say, it's okay, it's all right. He gave them a sharp rebuke and let them know clearly what it is that they had done. But that you have an opportunity to be forgiven. See, that's what people don't sit back and realize. Because you look at it in the natural sense. When you do something wrong, most of the time somebody try to console you about it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even try to even understand your thought process on why you did it. Y'all don't want to understand your thought process on why you did it. He doesn't really care what your thought process was. Because especially if you knew that you knew better. He doesn't really care. But there is the opportunity. Like I said, I didn't listen to it, but I don't know what verses he used. You know what I'm talking about? But there's examples of that. You know, Jeremiah was an intercessor for the people and went and spoke on their behalf when they were in sin. Let me remember what I said. Come on over here to the book of Jeremiah. Somebody trying to get in here. I gotta remember what a chapter at. Let's go to what is it? Jeremiah 27. Make sure that's it. No, that ain't it. That is not it. That is not what I want. Well, yeah, I can use that though in a different aspect. Come to Jeremiah 27 verse 14. Jeremiah 27 and verse 14. He said, therefore hearken not unto the words of the prophets that speak unto you, saying, you shall not serve the king of Babylon, for they prophesy a lie unto you. For I have not sent them, saith Yahuwah, yet they prophesy a lie in my name, that I might drive you out, and that you may perish, ye and the prophets that prophesy unto you. Also I spake to the priests and to all this people, saying, thus saith Yahuwah, hearken not to the words of your prophets that prophesy unto you, saying, behold, the vessels of Yahuwah's house shall now shortly be brought again from Babylon, for they prophesy a lie unto you. Hearken not unto them, serve the king of Babylon and live, wherefore should this city be laid waste? But if they be prophets, and if the word of Yahuwah be with them, let them now make intercession to Yahuwah of hosts, that the vessels which are left in the house of Yahuwah and in the house of the Malik of Yehudah and at Jerusalem go not to Babylon. So now we know that the people, all this is happening to them because of what? Sin. He said if they really be prophets, then let them advocate on your behalf. Because that's what an intercessor does. They advocate on your behalf. That's all they do. Just because he advocates on your behalf does not mean the person that he's advocating to is going to hearken to their voice, though. That's the part you got to remember. See, that's the part that nobody want to mention. Yes, Yahushua HaMashiach is there to advocate on your behalf. That does not mean that Yahuwah has to accept that advocation. You know what I'm saying? See, nobody want to deal with that. Just like this here, right? Peter wrote in one of his epistle letters that if you suffer for doing wrong, you just need to take that upside your head. You know what I'm talking about? And that's what I'm telling you. A nigga could sin, and like I said, because we done already had a conversation before, and a nigga tell you we got to show mercy. Where do I need to show mercy to a nigga for? If I just went and killed a nigga, what does anybody in here need to show me mercy for? What you showing me mercy for? I didn't kill you. I didn't kill your family member. If I killed your family member, then you're supposed to show mercy to me because I've done something to you. You know what I'm talking about? If I done went and committed all manner of sin, what are you? You can't forgive me. And truth be told, let me show you something else. Jeremiah 17. Make sure that's what it is that I want. My bad, Jeremiah 7. 7 and 13. Make it 7 and 9. Screw it. 7 and 9. Well, make it 8. He say, behold, you trust in lying words that cannot profit. See, that's our people's biggest problem. That we trust in lies. We love lies. A nigga can tell you, okay, just like you met, I said, right? Sometimes a nigga can ask you a question. They already know what the answer is to the question. They just want you to lie to them. I used to be locked up, man. Nigga come to me like, bruh, you think them crackers gonna give me 40 years? Well, nigga, you already know them crackers finna give you 40 years. What you asking me for? You know what I'm talking about? Like, what do I look like? I don't know what that man gonna give you, bruh. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. But people ask you that. Some of y'all got siblings. Some of y'all done looked at and say, you think mama gonna beat us? You already know mama finna beat us. You already know she finna beat it. You want me to lie to you and tell you that mama not gonna beat us so you can feel better about yourself. Then when mama come through the door and beat both of us, then you mad at me cause I told you mama wasn't gonna beat us. You said she wasn't gonna beat us, bro. Come on, bro. You knew she was gonna beat us. The school called her 2 hours before we got home. Some of y'all know what it's like to brace for that whooping before she get home too. Probably just sitting in the corner holding your knees, rocking, hiding. She come in the door. You in here? You act like you're not there. Trying to hide. That's what people gonna be doing. The book say that's what you're gonna do when Yahushua come. They gonna be running, trying to hide up under rocks, try to act like they don't hear him and don't see him, cause you knew you were gonna get a whooping before he got here. And I already told you that before too. If a nigga asks you, do you think I'm going to hell? Cause you know you going, cause you wouldn't even ask me. A nigga who's not going to hell doesn't ask that question. You know what I'm saying? A nigga who ain't did something wrong, bro, you think the people gonna send me to prison? You don't ask that question unless you. The only caveat for that is innocent people who really been locked up and they be like, bro, you think them people really gonna convict me? Shit, I don't know, bro. I was locked up with a dude that killed the lady. It was years ago. Killed the Asian lady that was the nighttime clerk at the whatever that hotel is next to the Knights Inn on Horse Road. You know what I'm talking about? They were probably like 13, 14 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And that nigga was like, I ain't do it. Got the cracker on tape, DNA there and everything. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up. Got him on tape, DNA, everything. All that's there. Cause say you think they gonna give me a life sentence? Well, nigga, what you think? You know what I'm saying? Cause you were there. They got your spit. And you on tape, I can see your face. I saw your face. Like I saw your face, like not a hood and it looked like your body. I saw your face. You showed it to me. Cause you going to prison. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and get ready, man. I'll never forget until a nigga tried to steal the commissary one day. That cracker held that bag with a death grip. That cracker say, no. They were kicking him all in the face, punching him all in the face. Cuz held on to that bag, boy. Cuz held on. You know what I'm talking about? He both got beat though. Come on, Jeremiah 7 and 8. We're in verse 9. He say, will you steal, murder, commit adultery, swear falsely, burn incense to Baal, and walk after other gods whom you know not? I see that. And come and stand before me in this house, which is called by my name, and say, we are delivered to do all these abominations. See, that's what a nigga wants you to do. Is that you can steal and you can murder and you can lie and you can do whatever you want to do, and then you say you can stand in the body of Yahushua and say, I'm delivered to do all of these things. This is why we read that in Ephesians last night, and he say, don't let your freedom be an occasion for the flesh. Because you got a lot of dudes that feel like, oh, I know I'm a Hebrew, or I know this manner of information, so I'm free to go do this. And he has to forgive me because I'm from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That man don't have to do nothing but be Elohim and kill and make alive and let his word be true. That's all he got to do. He ain't got to do nothing else. He's not obligated to save anyone. That's the first thing people got to understand. He's not obligated to save anyone. He saves people and forgives them so that you know there's mercy with him, that you might fear him. You know what I'm saying? That you might give him that respect that's due. So when you run across people that feel like they can do whatever they want to do, that's a foul nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's a foul nigga. Especially with somebody as merciful as Yahuwah is, that is winking his eye at your transgressions. Because he winking at it. See, let me show you another example of that. Acts 17. Would you like to get down? Hold this Jeremiah 7. Acts 17 and 27. Come on. Make it 24. And again, us lightly esteeming the rock of our salvation, what we reading, all this is coming from, and Deuteronomy 32, it was about idol worship. And we still holding Ezekiel 16 too. But we ain't just talking about the literal. Now he talking about literal serving other gods, but we know people got all manner of idols in their heart. Some people husband is their idol. Some people their wife is their idol. Some people is their job, their kids, their pride. You know what I'm talking about? Their ambitions. Whatever that you got set up in your heart that's coming before Yah. Anything that come before Yah technically is an idol. Anything that draws you away from Yah technically is an idol. And that's something that has to be regulated and paid attention to. If whatever you doing is getting more attention than Yahuwah is getting, and you going towards that more than him, it's an idol and it needs to be gotten rid of. Elohim had made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is master of Shamahim and Arats, dwell not in temples made with hands. You know, dudes piss me off when they always scream that. I don't know if some of y'all here don't understand that, but when he say he doesn't dwell in temple made with hands, that does not mean that you don't have a physical place that you go gather and congregate in. Just like he said in 2 Chronicles chapter 6 when Solomon was praying, he said, can the earth and the Shamahim of Shamahim contain you? No. How much less than this house that I have built? It's not that Yahuwah dwells in a building because a building is an inanimate object. He dwells in the people. That doesn't mean they didn't have, because at that point when that was written in the book of Isaiah, then why was Mashiach in the temple then? Why was he going from synagogue to synagogue then? That would be dumb. That's just niggas dumb. He don't dwell in temples made with hands. So nigga, where you supposed to go at then, you idiot? You know what I'm saying? Like, you stupid. But that's what happened when you look at dude and you read the word with no understanding. You stupid. Because everybody done seen people, and maybe even said it out your own mouth, who pick on people who go somewhere to gather. He don't dwell in temples made with hands. Clearly he don't dwell in you either. Because you know why? Because this temple, this body that you have, it was not made with hands. No man constructed that and made that with his own hands. He didn't build that. It's common sense. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're looking at what Hebrews 8 say, that we dwell in the sanctuary not made with hands. Basically in the body of Mashiach that was crafted by the power of the Ruach HaKodesh that rose him from the dead. Because at the end of the day, like I say, right, I told you, like I said, I don't know the brother who just got killed. I hope that Yah, he had mercy on him and he raised him up at the first one. But that is supposed to, if you in the word, that's supposed to like click your brain. It should click your brain open anyway. But when you see somebody, from what I can tell, they say Cub was pretty steadfast in what he was on. You know what I'm saying? Very passionate about the word. Like I said, I don't know how he lived. I don't know him. You know what I'm talking about? But now that man dead. You know, and a lot of our people sad, and rightfully so. But then you need to sit back and consider your own self. If I die, will it be a good awakening when he wake me up? You know what I'm saying? Cause it's over with for Cuz now. His works are completed. Prayerfully, his works were good, and his works follow him, and he be blessed in his sleep. You know what I'm talking about? That's all I can say. That ain't no different than like when Goldie passed and Tama passed. That's how you look at it. That made Yah bless them, and that they works follow them, and that he wake them up on the first one, and they receive a full reward. You know what I'm saying? But you supposed to sit back and consider: am I ready to leave here? You know what I'm talking about? Because if you're not ready to leave here, then you need to get yourself ready to leave. You just don't need to make sure that you make yourself ready for this man's return. Because whether you dead or asleep, you're going to be supposed to be getting ready for his return, because that's when you're going to meet him. So that means you need to make sure that, am I ready to die today? If I hit this grave, not only do I know that I will be woken up in peace, but that everybody who knows me, loves me, and cares about me knows, like what Martha said when we read last night. Or she said, I know I'll see him again at the resurrection of the dead. That wasn't even no thought in her brain when she died. She said, I know, ain't no big deal. I see him at the resurrection. It's all good. My brother's straight, and I'm straight. Because clearly she got to know she's straight for her to even make that statement. See, that's the part that people overlook. She say, I will see him again. So she know my faith on point, my service on point. I know my brother. Look at what Mary did when Martha said, the master, he didn't even ask for it. That woman jumped up and was gone. Where he at? She didn't even sit back and didn't even think no questions. She ain't died or nothing. She just got up and left. Let me go holler at him then. So you can look at Lazarus' whole immediate family. These people was on point. You know what I'm talking about? Look at how it references John the Baptist's parents. He said they were blameless and served you who are uprightness of heart. That's what it says. The reason why I say, because you got a lot of people say you don't know where your spirit at, and this, that, that, and the third. And to a certain extent, you can say that that's accurate. But when Paul writes in 2 Corinthians chapter 13 that you need to examine yourselves whether you be in the faith, that you're not a reprobate, and David wrote in Psalms chapter 4, you need to commune on your own heart in your own bed and stand still and sin not. Oh, you know where you at. You know where you at. You know where you lacking at. You know where you're not lacking at. You know where your obedience at, and you know where your faith at. And you know if you were to die right now, if you were getting up on the first bell or the second. And if you feel like you ain't gonna get up on, if you know you're not gonna get up on the first bell, then what are you gonna do to make sure you get up on the first bell? You just gonna walk around and be content on going to hell? You know what I'm saying? Or are you going to put forth the diligent labor that is necessary that your soul be preserved alive? And that's the stuff people don't like to hear that, because you know people always talk about going to hell. Well, you need to be cognizant of it, nigga. Need to be at the front of your brain. You know what I'm saying? So you don't get complacent, and not for no fear factor. I can't control no. You can tell somebody you going to hell. That's not going to control their behavior. You know what I'm talking? I don't know why people think that won't. Because guess what? How many people y'all know were running the streets and you told them you're going to get killed or go to jail? You stay out there in them streets. Them niggas still stayed out there in them streets. You know what I'm talking about? So that warning did not control. Well, shoot, mama and daddy said I'm going to go to jail. I guess I better go get a job tomorrow then. No, them niggas kept selling dope. They kept robbing. They kept stealing cars. They kept doing what it was that they were doing. How many times you know niggas in the street, homeboys get killed? That don't stop them niggas from running them streets. They see, man, my homeboy just called 40. Yeah, I'm waiting on the sack man right now, though, boy. You know what I'm saying? We gonna ball for my nigga in the club on Friday, though. That's it. Niggas keep doing what they doing. So the warning does not stop them. You know, niggas I know got killed when I was hustling. Get what? I bought some more dope the same day. Shoot, that messed up. Smoke a blunt for him, that's about all I can do. I got rocks to sell. Got to be more careful. That's all you can think about. A nigga I knew heart busted. That nigga got pulled over by the police, a fat nigga too. That nigga swallowed all his rocks. And nigga heart busted. You know what I'm saying? And he died. Big tank. And he died. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't want to go to jail. Did a nigga stop selling dope because Big Tank died? No. Nigga bought some more dope. The first nigga who I really ever bought rock from, that nigga died. Did you think I stopped? No. We continue. Niggas was going to prison around the nigga left and right. I remember the Fed jumped out on my homeboy, them out of U-Haul truck. Them nigga U-Haul truck came down Plaza Drive. All the niggas seen with the back of that truck open and Cracker just jumping out. I said, oh my lamb, I'm going in the house. Straight up, I'm going to the house. Nigga ain't stop hustling, bro. I can remember being at the same nigga house, like, bro, that Ford Explorer been watching us for about 30 minutes. What they got going on? That nigga said, oh, that's just the feds. I said, I'm gonna holler at you later. You know what I'm saying? Cause I'm not finna sit over here with you and they got me on camera with you, nigga. I don't even hustle with, I'm an independent hustler. I don't hustle with y'all. Meaning I'm not a part of their organization. You know what I'm saying? And the boy, I was cool with them niggas, but I ain't a part of what y'all got going on. I don't need no conspiracy charge. When he said, man, I'm a part of what y'all got going on. It's all good, baby. I still love you and I'm gonna holler at you tomorrow. But I ain't finna sit over here while the Fed watching them. I ain't finna sit over here and do that. And that nigga said it so nonchalantly. I think, oh, that's just the feds, my nigga. I say, what? I'll holler at you later. Man, I ain't but 20 years old, cuz I don't need them type of problems. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even got enough money yet to be talking about no be fooling with the feds. You know what I'm saying? But that was my nigga was doing his thing. But that's what happens though. You know what I'm talking about? And you gotta look at that. Don't stop nobody from, if it's intent in your heart to do wrong, nothing is gonna stop you from doing it. The warning that look at right. The same way you can get the persuading and imploring for eternal salvation, you also have to get the exhortation of eternal damnation. You can't get one without the other. Because if you walk around and you thinking it's all good, oh, we just got to be saved, then you get complacent because you don't sit back and look at what can happen to you if you mess up. Even what John, we read in John, is John telling you to go sin? He's just saying if it happened. Because he knows the likelihood of it could happen. You know what I'm saying? So the likelihood of it can happen is to repent and go petition your advocate that he'll petition the Father and prayerfully the Father have mercy on you if he so choose. Because at the end of the day, it's not Yahushua's determination, it's Yahuwah's determination. You know what I'm saying? It's just that the Father hearkens unto Yahushua. So if Yahushua would advocate on your behalf, it's a strong chance that the Father would hearken to his request. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? He could look at his son. I ain't fooling with that nigga, and you scarred. You know what I'm saying? See, nobody really wants to look at that Yah as that stern that where he could look you in the face and say, "Cause I don't fool with you like that." But he did it in the wilderness when he swore in his wrath that none of them would enter into his rest. He looked all of them in the face. I don't fool with y'all like that. He did Saul like that. I don't fool with you like that, cuz. He did Ahab like that. I ain't gonna kill you because you humbled yourself before me. I'm gonna still kill all your people. You're gonna die, but you just not gonna die today. Because I don't fool with you like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Told Jezebel that. These dogs gonna eat your body up and lick up your blood. Ain't nothing gonna be left but your bones, ho. Because I don't fool with you like that. Do you know what I'm saying? There's too many examples of that book where this man done looked people in the face and told them, I don't fool with you like that. And don't nobody want to deal with that. Because the nigga feel like, I know the name of Yahuwah. He loves me. But you don't love him though. Nor do you trust in him. Nor do you believe in him. So why would he ride for you like that? You're not riding for him. I don't know where people get that from. What is it? Let me finish this Acts 17. We got Jeremiah 7, Ezekiel 16, and Deuteronomy 32. Neither is he worshipped. What is it? That's verse 24. He said, Allah made the world and all things therein, seeing that he's the master of Shamahim and Arats, and dwell not in temples made with hands. Neither is he worshipped with men's hands as though he needed anything, seeing he give to all life and breath and all things. I'm sorry, just make me remember somebody I knew that's their favorite verse in Psalms 50. When he was like, I didn't ask you for any bullock or any sacrifice, because he said if I was hungry, I wouldn't tell you. And if I was thirsty, I wouldn't mention it. Because he don't. That's the part that we forget. We act like he needs or desires something from us. He don't need nothing from us. You know what I'm talking about? He made you. You need him. He don't need you. He said, he have made one blood all nations of men for to dwell on the face of the earth, and have determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation. Basically telling you he done set up when things gonna happen and what's gonna stop and what's not gonna stop. He done set it all up. That they should seek Yahuwah if happily they might feel after him, and find him, though he be not far from every one of us. For in him we live and move and have our being, as certain also of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring. For as much then as we are the offspring of Elohim, we ought not to think that the Elohim head is like unto gold or silver or stone, graven by art and man's devices. And the times of this ignorance Elohim winked at, but now commanded all men everywhere to repent. So he telling you there was a time where basically he turned his head from it and said, you know what, it's all right. Let's look at what that Greek word for wink is. Nobody don't want to deal with the fact that man say, didn't he say he winked at it? That means basically he turned his head from it. You know what, you ain't know no better, and it's cool. Now we can sit back and say that for every last single one of us sitting in this room, because it was you ain't know nothing about this man. I don't care about the time you spent in the Christian church or none of that, or the time you felt studied. You ain't know this man, and every sin you was committing before his face, he winked at it. He gave you a pass. You know what I'm talking about? But now he done commanded you to repent. You don't get no pass because you know better. Hello, Gail. I see your hand, Gail. The word winked in Greek is harpaaro, and that is to overlook or to take no notice of or not to punish. Now let's sit back and think about it. Ain't nobody got to be specific, because everybody knows the things that they done and the things that they have not done. Everybody knows. From the time that before you heard this word, that man ain't punished you for a lot of things. Because ain't nobody in here was no virgin when they heard the word. He ain't punished you for that. You know what I'm talking about? Some niggas done stole, you done lied. Everybody in here done celebrated Christmas. You done worship idols. And he turned his head at it. He ain't punished you for it. So why do niggas think that once you know that there's not a punishment for it? Oh, see, you know, he's a merciful God. You sound like a Christian. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what Christians say. Christians do all manner of hell, and the first thing they say out their mouth when they get called out on it is, well, my God's a merciful God. Well, how long you think that mercy stretch? You know what I'm saying? Because I put it to you this way. You could be the most merciful person in the world, right, Stanley? If a nigga keep walking up slapping you in your face, it ain't but a matter of time before you strike him back. You know what I'm saying? You could be like, bro, come on, bro. You got, bah! I told you, man. Come on. And that's how it is with sin. When we come out, you think he ain't going to strike back? Because let's say you didn't know it was right for you to slap me. And you slapped me, and you know I didn't rebuke. I'm like, man, this nigga's tripping. Because we use it in an extreme circumstance. Because you know somebody slap you, your instinct is to slap them back. You know what I'm saying? But let's just say, okay, he don't know no better. He kind of retarded. You know what I'm saying? But as time go on, you know, he's instructed better. And he knows better. He knows it's not right to slap. And now he done walked up and you and slapped you after he knew better. Wouldn't you be just in punishing him for him? Because now he knows that it's not permissible to slap another person? You have to look at it like that. It's not permissible to live how you want to live and say he's supposed to forgive you. You know what that it really is? That's pride. That's pride, and that's wickedness. And I told you this before. Any nigga that enable you is just as wicked as the person they're enabling. You know what I'm saying? Because you're basically saying that I condone this behavior under the guise of I'm loving you or being merciful to you, because I really don't want you to be upset with me for not accepting your behavior. Any of y'all ever watched that TV show Intervention? You ever seen that show before? When the people be on them drugs and they bring their family members in there. You know how buck some of them people get in there about that? Because they don't want to hear nobody telling them they're a junkie. They don't want to hear you're destroying yourself. I don't want to hear that. Tell me it's going to be okay. And give me $40 so I can buy some more coke. Because some people know their family members be on drugs and steady give them money knowing they finna go buy some dope. Would you like me to have that? I guess so. Nevertheless, Acts 17 and 30 again. And the times of this ignorance Elohim winked at, but now commanded all men everywhere to repent, because he have appointed a day in which he will judge the world in righteousness by that man whom he have ordained, whereof he hath given assurance unto all men, and that he raised him from the dead. Come on back to Jeremiah 7. I don't want that. I don't want that. We are in Jeremiah 7 and 11. All right, come on and get down here. Because you look like you're about to jump off. Take your cup, Gail. Get your shoe, too. Go get your mommy, put your shoe on. Go. And this house which is called by my name become a den of robbers in your eyes. Behold, I, even I have seen it, saith Yahuwah. But go ye now unto my place, which is in Shiloh, where I set my name at the first, and see what I did to it for the wickedness of my people Yasharal. And now because you have done all these works, saith Yahuwah, I spake unto you, rising up early and speaking, but you heard not, and I called you, but you answered not. Therefore I will do unto this house, which is called by my name, wherein you trust, and unto the place which I gave to you and your fathers, as I done to Shiloh. And I will cast you out of my sight, as I've cast out all your brethren, even the whole seed of Ephraim. Therefore pray not thou for this people, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to me, for I will not hear thee. Now that's strong words right there. And you know why he said? Because he said, since you felt like you could sin and do whatever it is that you wanted to do, and that you could defile my name and defile my house, even after you seen what I did to Shiloh, he told Jeremiah, don't pray for them. He said, don't advocate on their behalf. And that goes back to, there's no sacrifice for sins, for willful. I don't want it. He doesn't want to hear it. He don't want to hear it. And see, and guess what now? Him getting to that point with them right here was after an extended period of time where he was warning them. Because notice that he said, I sent prophets unto you, rising up early and sending them. And you wouldn't listen to them. So it just wasn't on, you did something you ain't had no business. Okay, you did it. You should have repented. I'm sending people to tell you to stop doing it. And you kept on doing it. I don't want to hear it no more. So now you lightly esteem the rock of your salvation. You've done foolishly. Because these nations and these gods who you calling on, they can't save you. Your friends can't save you. And that's what people keep forgetting. It's only one person who could save. Ezekiel 16. Nobody want to look at him. We stopped there. We in verse 6. Actually, we need to drop down a little bit for time's sake. Oh, screw it. There ain't that much. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. And when I passed by thee and saw thee polluted in thy own blood, and I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood, live. Yea, I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood, live. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased in waxen great, and thou art come to excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, thy hair is grown, whereas thou was naked and bare. So get what he say, you were butt naked and bald head. You know what I'm talking about? I done looked out for you. Now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love, and I spread my skirt over thee, and covered thy nakedness, and yea, I swear unto thee, and entered into a covenant with thee, saith Yahuwah Elohim, and thou became mine. Then washed I thee with water, yea, I thoroughly washed the blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil. I clothed thee also with broidered work, and shod thee with badger skin. I girded thee about with fine linen. I covered thee with silk. I decked thee also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon thy hands, and a chain on thy neck. And I put a jewel on thy forehead, and earrings in thy ears, and a beautiful crown upon thy head. Thou went decked with gold and silver. Thy raiment is of fine linen and silk and broidered work. Thou did eat fine flour, honey, and oil. Thou was exceedingly beautiful, and thou did prosper into a kingdom. And thy renown went forth among the heathen for thy beauty, for it was perfect through my comeliness, which I had put upon thee, saith Yahuwah Elohim. But thou did trust in thy own beauty, and played the harlot because of thy renown, and poured out thy fornications on every one that passed by. It was his. His it was, I should say. And of thy garments thou did take, and deck thy high places with diverse colors, and played the harlot thereupon. The like thing shall not come, neither shall it be so. Now you know what he basically told you? Remember, you know you came into the land and you had vineyards of which you did not plant. Right? You had houses that you did not build. You had wells that you did not dig. But you also got to remember, when you left up out of Egypt, you left out with a lot of substance. A lot of gold. A lot of silver. You know what I'm talking about? This is stuff he talking about. When he say you took my stuff and decked it, he said you took my stuff to make false gods out of it. That's what you went and did. And then you began to lightly esteem the rock of your salvation to esteem your idols. Because that's what they did. Well, we can see that in Exodus 32. They took the gold earrings out of their ears from the gold that Yah gave them and made a golden calf and said that calf was their savior versus the man who gave you the gold for you to make the calf. This is one, and this is one of the reasons where we get messed up at, because we get on in Proverbs chapter 30. Let's go ahead and get it. See, this is what happens. See, this is what happened to us. This is what we talk about as an example of what happened in Proverbs, what he speaks about in Proverbs 30. 30 and 5. Every word of Elohim is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. 2 things have I required of thee, deny me them not before I die. Remove me far from vanity and lies. Look at, sit back and look at how many people have actually asked this man to remove them from vanity and lies. Not only just vanity and lies in that sense, but the people who participate in vanity and the people who tell lies. You know, the most beautiful thing in the world is to have someone who lies removed from your presence. You know what I'm talking about? Because a nigga, like I told you before, you can deal with a thief because a thief just stealing your substance, which can be replaced. But a liar is stealing your reality. You know what I'm talking about? And that can't be replaced. You know what I'm talking about? Because America steal your reality. Ain't not the worst thing in the world is a nigga who can look you in your face and shoot you a bold-faced lie. You know what I'm talking about? See, you have two, like I say, I done seen this before, right? John Gotti was like, people lie when they scared. So most of the time, people lie because they a little fearful. But then you have a different type of liar. And that's niggas who just lie for the pure sake of lying. Niggas who are just outright deceitful all the way to their core. That have no problem looking you in your face and lying to you about something that they didn't even have to lie about. You know what I'm talking about? A nigga who lie ain't got nothing to do with Yahuwah. And that's a nigga, you got to keep that nigga far from you. Because he won't lie far from him. Well, I'm telling you, boy, once you spot a nigga lie, well, cut that nigga off. I'm talking about, boy, I wouldn't care if a nigga didn't like you, they didn't like how you move. Just don't let a nigga call you no liar, though. Don't let a nigga in your face and say, that nigga, they're a liar. And they be telling the truth. Oh, no. Nigga say a lot of things about me. You don't ever call me no liar, nigga. I have not lied to you. You may not like what I said. I ain't lied to you, though. Some people like to be lied to. That's why he said, behold, you trust in lying words that can't profit. So you want to ask this man to remove you far from vanity and lies in whatever capacity they can be found in. He said, give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. Lest I be fool and deny thee and say, who is Yahuwah? Or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of my Elohim in vain. Now notice what he said. That's what we read in Deuteronomy 32 and what we just read in Ezekiel 16 is what happened. They got fooled and said, who is Yahuwah? I don't know who that is. That's what we were talking about the other day. You don't know what you're going to do. See, this person here saying, just give me enough for me. Because you don't know what you're going to do if you get a lot of money. You don't know what you're going to do. See, we just look at the aspect of I ain't going to blow my money, this, that, that, and the third. But will you forget Yahuwah if you get your hands on that? You know what I'm talking about? See, that's another place since I said that. Is that Psalms 49? No, it's Psalm 62. Come to Psalm 62. 62. and 10. It says, trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery, and if riches increase, set not your heart upon them. See, you know what ends up happening when people money get up, they set their heart on that money. We'll go back to wherever your heart is, wherever your treasure is, your heart will be also. Because a nigga get $10 million and his heart is set on that $10 million. He done forgot about. Because the reason I like to say why these things have to be warned to people, because it needs to be at the forefront of your mind if you get put in that position. You know, people quick say, I'll never do this, I'll never do that. Then y'all put you in that position to show you a liar. You know what I'm saying? We go ahead and read 1 Timothy chapter 6 real quick. But boy, some people get a little bit of change, boy. That junk tear their whole head up. I done seen niggas go crazy with $10,000. So what you think a nigga do with $1 million? $10 million. 100 million. But some of these niggas, get 100 million, boy, they probably be dead in 60 days. They wouldn't know what to do. Now, of course, we know ain't nobody getting no $100 million overnight. That would definitely be a long, drawn-out process of building something over a period of time to accumulate that large amount of wealth. But, yeah. 6 and 10. No, actually, 6 and 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. Having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. This is why the man makes the statement in Proverbs 30. This is why in the Psalm he tell you, if your riches do increase, don't set your heart on it, because we know the law say Yah give you the ability to get wealth. And if you remember that Yah is the one who gave you the ability to get wealth, then you would never forget him because you know where it came from. Regardless of how you work, how hard you work for it, what you did, he allowed it to increase. Because he told you in the book of Samuel, he can take a man from a dunghill and set him amongst kings. He can take you from being poor tomorrow and being poor today and rich tomorrow. That's nothing for him to do. As he says, is there anything too hard for me? And it's not. Come on back to Deuteronomy 32. Let's look at verse 16. And let's look Deuteronomy 32 and 16. Now remember, right, he said they lightly esteemed the rock of their salvation. How did they lightly esteem it? They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods, with abominations, and provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten Elohim that formed thee. So let's look at 1 Corinthians 10 and about 20. So now you done forgot your Elohim to serve new powers. Because that's what you want to do now. You want to be like the heathen. You could get Isaiah chapter 17 behind this 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Make it first verse 14. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 14. Because it's that time of year. You know, it's a big idolatrous feast coming up in what? About 3 weeks? Big. Matter of fact, 2 big ones. Because January 1st is an idolatrous feast too. Because, you know, black people love to say, let's cook some black-eyed peas and greens and all this other type of stuff so they can eat a feast for Janus. Because that's what they doing, whether they realize it or not. Got niggas around here sitting at the church house talking about a watch party to wait on New Year to come in. Waiting to see their idol God. Do they know better? No, most of them don't. Most people with Christmas, yeah, they know. But I would say with New Year's, I would wager most of them probably don't know. That's not that's well-known information, but it's not at the same time. He said, wherefore, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry. I speak as to wise men, judge what I say. The cup of blessing which we bless, is it not the communion of the blood of Mashiach? The bread which we break, is it not the communion of the body of Mashiach? For we being many are one bread and one body, for we are all partakers of that one bread. Behold, Yasharal after the flesh, are not they which eat of the sacrifices partakers of the altar? What I say then, that the idol is anything, or that which is offered in sacrifice to idols is anything. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils, and not to Elohim. And I would not that you should have fellowship with devils. Now pause. Let's look at Revelation chapter 9 and we come right back. See, it's a lot of people having fellowship with devils. Guess what? Your family get mad then. They get mad when you say that. Revelation 9, we pick it up about verse 18. They get mad then. I don't serve no devil. It's Jesus' birthday. Okay. Well, Jesus a devil and it's his birthday. What you want to do? Because you know that what they say? Then we just had a conversation the other day. Nigga hit you with it. It's a time for family. You're right. It's a time for family of the devil. and have fun with your devil family. Because my family is not of the devil. So therefore I will not. That's what he just said when he said we all partakers of this one body and we all are this bread and we all one body. It's pretty much what he just said. He's making a delineation and a separation between a certain group of people. He said the Gentiles sacrifice the devils. We don't sacrifice to no devils. Because devils cannot see, they cannot hear, they cannot taste, they cannot touch, and they cannot save. Now I told y'all, right, there was a lot of contention about, I told y'all when I put that video in, and I was like, y'all listen to this video with this nigga. And Cuz asked him, is it permissible to offer your children to Molech? And Cuz said, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he was saying it in terms of, if you didn't serve Yahuwah, and he didn't say it was nothing wrong with it, then it was cool for you to do it. You know what I'm talking about? When he wasn't never said it, he just, what we just read in Acts 17, right? He didn't punish them for their ignorance. You know what I'm talking about? He didn't punish them for it. So no, nigga, it was never cool to worship an idol god. But this nigga actually said, just so y'all don't know, that nigga actually said it's a triune council of gods in heaven. See, you didn't listen that far, did you? Did you listen to it there? See, y'all didn't listen that far. That's what that nigga said. That nigga said, he asked, were the gods that the nation served, were they by men or were they created by Yah? He said created by Yah. He said they got a council in heaven and they all sit down. I guess Yah takes the Balaam. Tell me how you feel. You know what I'm talking about? Molech, how you feel about that move? Ashtaroth. Let me get your input. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. A roll round table. That's what the nigga said. A council of gods that can manifest on the meta. The nigga was using words I don't know. I don't know what that nigga was talking about. That nigga said, do you believe they metaphysical? Nigga, what did you just say? Nah, but Hercules is actual, because that's not watching too many episodes of Hercules. The Greeks had a council of gods in heaven. You know what I'm saying? They had that. You know what I'm saying? That's Greek mythology. If anybody's familiar with it, you done seen it. Shoot, truth be told, the Justice League is borderline on that. That's pretty much where the story derives from. In my opinion, I can't prove that with fact. It looked like it though. Shoot, I had the Justice League toys, and I'm trying to tell you, it lined up. Taking my memory back to 85, nigga. They had a big old table, all them niggas sat around it, they had a little base and all that. And everybody got superpowers. Except for Batman. I'm telling you, Batman the only one. He just a weirdo. He just like to put on rubber suits and, well, at that time he liked to put on tights and drawers. Because he had the rubber suit then. He had tights and drawers. That got to be something. I like to say, how you gonna be scared of a nigga fighting crime with tights and drawers on? This nigga got no tights. Just pull that nigga tights. Shoot, if the nigga trying to lock you up and do all this here till you do something, make this nigga uncomfortable, leave me alone. Not finna wrestle around with this nigga. That, she got to be uncomfortable, because I'm uncomfortable looking at you, sir. I don't want your help. You got on drawers and tights.
Oh yeah, good man. I appreciate it.
I'm just saying is how I'm gonna be scared of a nigga. I probably am scared of this nigga fighting crime with a mask and drawers on. This nigga got a mask and drawers on, little black drawers. That joke. That a lot of people tried to get more. They did now. He got it. Hey, I guess he felt like that was the best way for him to move around was with them drawers on. Ha! These drawers on. Especially it was even bad with the Adam West Batman TV show. This old, I'm talking about, like they ain't even had no muscles or nothing with them tights and drawers on. He did look like a regular old white man. And Robin drawers was worse because that nigga had on neutral colored tights.
How do you say you check my how Robin always be killed?
Oh, you talking about Bruce? You talking about? And then the nigga say Dick Grayson around there hanging out in the cave with a dude. Ain't a woman around. What y'all doing in that cave? What y'all doing in that cave? So did Aquaman had tights? I don't know if Aquaman part of Justice League.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that nigga had on tights too. That nigga had on the orange t-shirt with green drawers.
That's something though. He's in the water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you out the water. Put some pants on. When you get out the water, put some pants on, nigga. Around here with your junk all in my face. Oh man, I do think about a podcast I was listening to. Y'all too young for it. Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior were wrestling back in the day. If you ever watch wrestling right, they do a little test of strength where they grab each other's hands. And in that particular match, like Ultimate Warrior falls down on his knees and his head is at this man's crotch. And how they did the camera, like they didn't do a side camera angle. They did the camera angle so you see Hulk Hogan's back. So when he doing the stretch to strip, you just see him doing Ultimate Warrior doing his head like this here, like moving it around. You know, when this like 91. So when you're 10, 11 years old, you don't catch the what's the word I'm looking for? Dang, Stewie Griffin said it on the jump, man. Yeah, that homoerotic type stuff they got going on right now. But when you get older, you sit back and look at it, that's not right. Oh yeah, Rakisha, how you agree to let a grown man put his booty in your face? And then he rub it in your face. You know, stuff crazy, man. That junk tripped me out. He said that's what you get for letting kids play with homoerotic dolls. Cause Thundercats, that nigga was definitely in his drawers. You want to talk about He-Man? He-Man ain't had nothing on but a vest and drawers. I know, cause I had every He-Man toy. That's what I'm saying. It just was a strap vest and draw. Big muscle bound nigga with a X strap and some drawers. You know what I'm talking about? Even Skeletor would walk around with drawers on. But why do you go? Like, you go to sit back and wonder what these white people got with men in drawers. You know what I'm talking about? Because it seems like anybody, cartoon and wrestling on, because wrestling too, and that too, right? Everybody muscular with drawers on. Why everybody got drawers on? Why do I need to see this nigga quadriceps? I don't understand it. Does it make sense? Oh, then we don't even want to talk about back in the day with the basketball shorts. Them was ridiculous. They say Jordan the one changed that. That man said he got tired of wearing them short shorts. For real, they say Michael Jordan was the first one to start wearing them longer basketball shorts, man. In college, they wore knee length. It reached to the knee. But Jordan in the NBA, like, he had, see, they had the baggy shorts. And it's like, what, 91, 92? And Jordan started wearing a little longer. His shorts wasn't long as theirs. But, you know, they were wearing them short shorts, boy. That junk was nasty back in the day looking at Charles Barkley with them little old shorts on, man. You know what I'm talking about? Terrible. You know what I'm talking about? I think Magic Johnson liked when he had them little old shorts on. You know what I'm talking about? After I seen him kiss Isaiah Thomas in the mouth with them little old shorts on, I said, oh yeah, you know about that? They did that on the court. That nigga walked out on the court, kissed each other in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? I said, man, when them rumors started coming out talking about them boys were gay, I said, shoot, that's probably how that nigga got AIDS then. I don't know. I ain't kissing no nigga in the mouth. I'm dead serious. I'm not joking. I'm not being funny or nothing. Like, this was real things that were actually thrown out there in the 90s. That they thought Magic Johnson. They definitely thought Isaiah Thomas was gay. We see from his time with the Knicks that gay he was not. You know what I'm talking about? Because he was sexually harassing plenty of women for the New York Knicks and got sued behind it and lost. You know what I'm talking about? But that is true. You know what I'm talking about? But clearly we know he likes a woman or two. And then with Magic Johnson, man, they were coming out saying that nigga was gay. And nigga didn't know. Especially, I will put this point to it, in the 90s, people thought that AIDS was a homosexual disease and that if you got it, it was because you were gay. Yeah, he did. I remember that. He came back and played in the All-Star game in 92. And a lot of them niggas didn't want to play with him after that. You know what I'm saying? And that's when they came up with the rule that if you start bleeding on the court, you got to come out the game. And if blood get on your jersey, they got to swap your jersey out. And that's what all that stuff came from. But at the time, it wasn't that much information known about HIV because only technically HIV had only been dealt with for like a decade at that time. So people were very, very nervous when it came to that. People didn't want to shake your hand. Eazy-E was like 95. Yeah, about 95. Magic Johnson came out with AIDS. I remember because I watched the conference. It was 1991. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, I remember that because, shoot, they had just lost to the Bulls in the finals. Then a couple weeks later, here come Magic talking about I must retire because I have contracted HIV. But your wife ain't got it. Your kids that you had ain't get it. And then like one of them comedians say that nigga got financial AIDS, and that nigga like, I want to get the AIDS that nigga got. That nigga say I want the AIDS Magic Johnson got. Nigga ain't never got AIDS and got rich. This the only nigga that done had AIDS for 26 years and ain't dead. Pretty much anybody else who got AIDS is dead.
Yeah, because you get the blood count low.
That nigga dead, son. I don't think the nigga ever had it.
But no, you really gotta be healthy.
AIDS, HIV, whatever you call it, that's a tick. This nigga finna die. Ain't too many niggas walking around with HIV for 26 years.
No, you gotta really have a strict diet because it's all about your health. It's attacking your immune system.
Yeah, I know. That's something to
If it's any kind of way, like,
I don't know what that nigga got AIDS and got fat. You know what I'm talking about? Like for real, like this nigga got AIDS and got bad body. You know what I'm talking about?
you really have to do a real life health.
I don't know how that nigga got it. I hope that nigga wasn't around here driving in sewages though. But nevertheless. Nah, Cookie ain't got it. Cookie Johnson ain't got it.
When he died with him, my wife spoke about it before he died.
I know, I'm just skeptical. I don't know if the nigga had it or not. That's just me. You know? I know it's a difference between HIV and AIDS, but then you have some people that believe AIDS and HIV don't even exist. Shoot, my homegirl died from it. Shoot, I know it exists. Shoot, cause she's not here no more. You know what I'm talking about? And she definitely caught it from a Dirty Johnson nigga from out east. You know what I'm talking about? For real, that was my nigga. My nigga gone. Signed, sealed, and delivered behind that. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga can't tell me nothing about that. Shoot, my homeboy watched his people die from that. Like literally watched her waste away and die. You know what I'm talking about? But for real though, but back in the 90s though, if a nigga said something, boy, nigga ain't wanna. Well, of course I wouldn't want to just bare bowl any public toilet seat, but a nigga ain't want to sit on the same toilet seat as somebody who had AIDS. Nigga didn't want to drink out the same cup. They didn't want to shake niggas' hands. People thought you could get AIDS from kissing. They ain't want to do nothing. If you said you had AIDS or HIV, you was literally a pariah. People like stay away from, and they thought you were gay. But it's not like what I'm saying is it's like. But what I'm talking about, it's not pushed. It's like people don't have that same level of fear now that they had back then because there's more information. Cause clearly people ain't got no fear of AIDS because niggas still getting loose. Cause Jacksonville got the highest rates of AIDS in the state the last time I seen. You know what I'm talking about? You know, people be tripping when they be like, how Jacksonville #1 in AIDS? It is 1 million people here. These niggas is freaks. You know what I'm talking about? These niggas making all these groups talking about is that your man and who hit her? Like a nigga put me in a group talking about who hit this chick. And putting pictures of women in there to see who slept with him or not. This how loose niggas is in this city. I'm surprised ain't more niggas got AIDS. They say that them niggas say they made that group for the group that the women made about niggas cheating on their old lady. So the comeback was, since y'all women want to do that, we're just gonna show how a lot of y'all who talking all that trash are whores. That's what I was told. That's what I was told. It is foolish, cause you had dudes trying to get in the group where the women was at, putting dudes on blast. You know, I guess the women were working together saying, hey, these niggas cheating on you. You know what I'm talking about? And this, that nigga, and this, that, and the third. Well, ain't no need for that. Just pick up the phone and say your nigga ain't no good, but leave that nigga alone. I love him. Get AIDS and die, ho, and hang up the phone. Now, what you got? If you tell somebody nigga cheating on you, clearly he going bareback. And some of these niggas cheating with boys. You know what I'm talking about? You said that like you know that from personal experience. I'm talking about you sound like you walked in the room, Jimmy. What you doing? God. We're gonna leave Rusty out of that. Rusty was in a bad place. No one could save Rusty that night. Hey, worst part is that's a true story. But we gonna leave that true story where it's at. But you know I gotta be bad nigga coming for you and can't nobody save you. You ain't talking about it's not a game, nigga. You better knuckle up. Knuckle up. You can't let no man violate you in that fashion. Stand up like a man. If he gonna get it bloody and cold. Real. If a woman get raped, I ain't got nothing to say. Man get raped, boy, you's a coward, boy. You better fight that nigga, boy. Don't let nobody take your booty, boy. Can't you let nobody do you like that? You know how much work it takes to violate a man? A woman got a built-in excuse. You smaller than him and you not as strong. He can overpower you. You know what I'm saying? I'm being serious though. A woman can be. No, I'm talking about two grown men. I wouldn't care what he was, nigga. You better pinch, scrape, bite, whatever you gotta do. But you better make that nigga earn that booty hole. You can't let nobody do you like that. But you gotta earn that today, boy. You gonna have to fight for this. But I guarantee you gonna have a wound, some blood, or something. You can't let nobody do you. A man. Nobody do you like that. Ain't no way. Cause now he just mentioned a real story that happened, right? I'm in the county jail. I'm 19 years old. No, and I'm just saying though, and that's what happened. I hear that white boy say, "Stop it, Rusty. It's not a game." So I'm like, this nigga's getting raped, and you ain't fighting. You know what I'm saying, nigga? You better fight, nigga. I keep telling him to fight. I'm in my cell. He can't hear me. Nigga's like, I'm in the county, man. This is 2000. No, nigga, this is 17 years ago. Man, look at man, niggas ain't getting raped nowhere too often. No, listen what I'm telling you, right? Listen what I'm telling you. Raping does not happen like that. Niggas get raped, it does happen, but it doesn't happen like that. These niggas are willing participants. So if a nigga rape you, you got to be downy soft. You know what I'm talking about? Like somebody, for a nigga to look at you and be like, boy, I'm gonna take that nigga. Come on, man. No, man. I'm gonna tell you, a white boy, Brett Bullington, nigga, when we were getting the Gulf Correctional, we walking through the gate, that nigga say, fresh meat. Oh, that's my old lady. He was so scared. I'm like, what you scared for? Yeah, you might be 5'8", 115 pound nigga. You better fight. You better make them nigga earn your respect. You know what I'm talking about? I wouldn't care how small you were, man. People respect hard. You better fight. Just like that nigga talking about, I heard a podcast I was listening to, a nigga was talking about that booty warrior nigga. See, for the booty warrior nigga, you don't be scared of a nigga like that. But you go get you a good old shank, and when that nigga come up with that rattle, you stab that nigga in the neck. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down though. You out here talking about we gonna do this the easy way or the hard way. I got an easy way for you. I'm gonna hit you with the steel, nigga. What you mean? So you don't let no man take your booty like this here? What you? Who? I'll tell you, before I went up the road, my homeboy Big Norman, that nigga told me, that nigga say, this what you do, young nigga. That nigga say, y'all seen the mop bucket before, right? You know the mop ringer? That nigga told me, say, young blood, you get that mop ringer, and you pick it up, and you bash your nigga brains in. This what this nigga telling me, like, nigga size you, my nigga, grab the mop ringer, work it. When you get to prison, they don't got no mop ring like that. They got the mop bucket with a little hole in it, and you got to push it in there and squeeze. Because you can make a knife out that mop ringer, man. You can break that thing down, take that handle out, get that steel out of it, file it down, you got a knife. You know what I'm saying? But then what my homeboy was telling me, I'm 24 years old. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been on the road, so he just telling me what to do. Like somebody size you, knock him out. But you already know you got to knock him out. You know what I'm saying? Because if you sit there and and you know this on the street, period. If you walk up and you let a man disrespect you, beat you up, take something from you, every man that knows that will do that from that point after. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't got no heart and I don't respect you as a man, so I feel like I can do you like that. See, women, you don't have those type of problems. Ain't no woman finna walk up and size you for a fight just to see where your heart at. Some of y'all done moved to different neighborhoods and a nigga size you and want to fight when you were young because a nigga want to see where your heart at. Because if you don't fight, everybody in the neighborhood gonna beat you up. You know what I'm saying? Women ain't got to deal with that. You come in the neighborhood, all you got to do is fend off the niggas who trying to poke you.
I've seen women have that conversation. Yes.
It does happen, not as often as men though.
Especially if it's a group of people that already know each other. Like, yeah.
Niggas already know you go to a new school, you can happen.
Yeah, but see, for women, it doesn't happen as often as men. I ain't gonna say it don't happen with women, but it gonna happen with a man. Especially, like they said, especially in Jacksonville, let a nigga would have transferred from one middle school, now you going to Gilbert. Them niggas finna bump with you, man.
Girls do that too, though.
Not as often as men do.
You get
I feel like girls try to go men too.
Oh no. Oh no, oh absolutely not. Absolutely not. Niggas want to see where your heart at because they want to see if you down. You know what I'm saying? They want to see where your heart at. Especially in these streets, because the reason why men do it more than women, because women don't end up running those streets. Ain't no women out here running no streets, selling no dope, robbing niggas as much as men do.
Why it ain't?
I didn't say it wasn't. I said they ain't out here doing it. Ain't too many chicks out here murking niggas. Ain't too many women out here robbing niggas. And it definitely ain't. How many women you done seen on the block selling rocks? I ain't seen many. I ain't say I ain't know none. I said I ain't seen many.
We was just talking about fighting.
I ain't seen many. What I mean, that's where all that stuff come from. It's the street stuff. No, I mean, I'm really just talking about because the fighting come from the street stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time when niggas trying you like that, they doing stuff, so they want to see if you can get out. Because nobody don't want no weak nigga in their crew. And to transition to something else, and that's why y'all try people to see where you at, because he don't want no weak niggas in his crew. You know what I'm saying? You don't want no weak people in it, because that's why he said he got to try you. He got to take and see where your heart at. So that's why you get put in adverse situations, see what you're going to do. Because like, if you go to a gladiator camp, which is a youth offender prison, or you fight as soon as you get off the bus. Off the bus. You know what I'm talking about? See, they ain't no youth offender camps for women. All the women go to like 2-3 prisons. There's one in Gaston County, and I don't know what the other two at. You know what I'm saying? But gladiator school, as soon as you get off the bus, these niggas they'll give you a brand new set of blues. Them niggas gonna go in your locker and take your clothes just to see what you gonna do. Them niggas gonna do something specifically to cause you to fight. You get locked up in the Duval County jail, they put you on the 6th floor with them jits, you gotta be ready to fight. Cause they wanna see what you gonna do. Older dudes don't like being around them jits cause them niggas too wild. Ain't got time for that. I ain't finna fight none of them niggas. I'm finna stab every last one of them. Every last one of them get some good steel in their stomach. You know what I'm talking about? Whop! Stab all you niggas. I ain't got time to play with you. For real, if you can get your hands on one, I'm not finna play with them young niggas. Man, you gotta stab them niggas in their neck. Let them know it's real. You gotta let them know it's real. That's what you gotta do to them. You gotta let them know it's real. You around here letting niggas come. I mean, my homeboy told me he seen a nigga get raped when we was on the road. He said he was watching a nigga get raped. He said the nigga looked at him and said, "Help me." He said the nigga who was doing the raping like, "Nigga, you want some of this?" That nigga say, "No, I'm good." Hey, I won't go. I say, "My nigga." I mean, I seen the nigga. I don't know if he was getting raped or he was a willing participant, but I did walk up on that. I was disgusted. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's how I felt. Imagine how you think you feel getting up just to go urinate. I didn't want to pee, cuz I can't even go to sleep now. I'm like Stewie laid in the bed. I'm traumatized.
Well, you imagine how loud it is.
Who you telling? Cause these niggas knocking on his door, asking for booty. The whole city came to Lot House.
Oh, no.
Nah, they came to Lot House. Let me know. Let me get them men. I want to know them. Say I'd have been inside. They said Lot did right. I'd have been a nigga. I'd have started throwing rocks. Son, shoot.
So you're right here.
You niggas nasty.
Because at that point, you do that. You get slipped off, you can't get raped.
And that's what I see. Y'all went in here. That's what I was telling you. That's why I sat and paused before I walked around there and slapped that punk. Cause I'm like, that punk want to play. He want a nigga to do that because he think he getting aggressive. Like it's like when you a teenager and you want to wrestle around with your girlfriend because you really trying to get freaky. You know what I'm talking about? Some of y'all niggas know what you do. You want to play fight with that girl because you trying to get a little close. Get your little rub on. You know what I'm talking about? Look at Monte. He raised his hand. He said, "I am a perpetrator." Monte said, "I am a perpetrator." Said that. I have done it. You know what I'm talking about?
That's the first thing Kirby said. Oh, we gonna fight when we see you.
Cause what she Cause what she wants you to do? Rub and grab. Rub and grab. You know what I'm saying? Nigga already know what time it is, cause I'm not finna wrestle around with you, cause then you gonna think a nigga want your booty. I don't want your booty, cuz. Hey, Revelation 9 and 18. Yeah, serious though. Y'all be careful there. Y'all already know that. Just like say, I'm a fight when you just want a nigga wrestle around and touch on you so we can end up naked. Ain't nobody finna play with you like that. He said, by these three was the third part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone. which issued out of their mouths. For the power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, with them they do hurt. And the rest of these men who were not killed by these plagues, yet not repented not of their works of their hands, that they should not worship devils, and idols of gold, and silver, and brass, and stone, and of wood, which can neither see, nor hear, nor walk. Now you're talking about massive amount of plagues falling on men, and men still won't change their behavior. So that's what I mean. Like, you can tell people they going to hell, you can tell people whatever, but if they don't want to change, they're not going to change. Come on back to 1 Corinthians chapter 10. 1 Corinthians 10. But at the same token, you know what? People out here spiritually molesting people and raping people every day. Every day. Nigga love it too. Nigga love them lies. You know what I'm saying? Nigga love to be abused. We are in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. I'm going to read verse 20 again. He say, but I say the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to Elohim. And I would not that you should have fellowship with devils. You cannot drink the cup of Yahuwah and the cup of devils. You cannot be partaker of Yahuwah's table and the table of devils. Do we provoke Yahuwah to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? Because that's what he's talking about in Deuteronomy 32. Come back to Deuteronomy 32, because the part about him birthing us out of that rock, I'm going to wait for that. We're going to separate that and let that stand on its own. And we in verse what? 17, 16? Look at it again. Because all Paul is telling you is what's in the law. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods, with abominations, and provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to Elohim, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers knew not. So he said these people are steadily and consistently worshiping devils, and it brought his wrath. What we read in Jeremiah 27 and why he said he wouldn't hear their prayer. Why wouldn't he hear them? Because they were worshiping idol gods. They had forgot the rock, or they forgot the head of their desire, or him who they needed. See, we forget you need Yahuwah. Let me see something in Psalm 78 real quick. See, we need Yahuwah, but we don't want to acknowledge that we need Yahuwah, because we feel like we can get it on by ourselves. That's why he say they done forgotten me. Yeah, come over here to Psalm 78 and verse 56. He just going to tell you the same thing and the things that he did because of it, which we could go into great detail all through this book about the things that he did to us for idol worship, because of idol worship. He said, yet they tempted and provoked the Most High Elohim and kept not his testimonies, but turned back and dealt unfaithfully like their fathers. They were turned aside like a deceitful bow. For they provoked him to anger with their high places and moved him to jealousy with their graven images. When Elohim heard this, he was wroth and greatly abhorred Yasharal. So that he forsook the tabernacle, the tent which he placed among men, and delivered his strength into captivity in his esteem into the enemy's hand, and gave his people over also unto the sword, and was wroth with his inheritance. The fire consumed their young men, their maidens were not given to marriage, their priests fell by the sword, and their widows made no lamentation. Now, of course, you know, when he say he forsook his tabernacle, he talking about how he forsook Mashiach because of the idolatry. Because Mashiach had to come for two reasons. One, because of the sin of Adam, and because of the idolatry of Yasharal. Because Yasharal committed a lot of sins, but the biggest sin they committed is that they served other gods. Because that is the thing that he went over numerous times not to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's what our people like to look over. Really, they had three sins on top of that, and their lack of faith. This is the only reason why they wanted to be like the nations. Come on back to Deuteronomy 32. Come here, Lizzie. Go to your daddy then. We in verse 18. And of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten Elohim that formed thee. And when Yahuwah saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them, and I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very forward generation. Children in is no faith. So because they want to do what they want to do, Yah turned his back on them. And that's what ends up happening when you want to do what you want to do. See, you can do what you want to do, but that don't mean you who are going to be there with you. See, nobody want to tell nobody that. You know what I'm saying? Or people like to sit back and look at it. They try to want to point out what they feel like this person, oh, you're this or you're that. You can feel how you want to feel. It's not going to change. The book says what it says. The word is what it is. And he's going to do what he's going to do. Irregardless of how you feel, you can say what you want to say about me. And nigga, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of people think, but like I told you before, a lot of people's problem is they care what other people think about them. When you care what other people think about you, it's because you're insecure with your own self. If you're secure and confident in your own self, you don't care what people think about you. You don't care what people say about you, whether it's accurate or whether it's true. You know what I'm saying? I mean, whether it's not true. Because, you know, a lot of people say stuff about people and they be lying. And they really just be saying stuff to really divert the attention off of themselves or what they got going on with themselves. Because that's what the adversary like to do. He like to divert attention off of himself and oppress those things upon you. That's why he came at Job and said, came to Yahuwah about Job, like, you know, he'll do this or he'll do that if you do this. Because he wants to divert from the attention away from himself that he don't believe and that he would do that if he was in that same situation. That's what people like to do. You have to watch people like that. Nevertheless. Verse 21. They move me to jealousy, which that which is not Elohim. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. I will move them to jealousy, which those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with the foolish nation. For a fire is kindled in my anger, and shall burn to the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spin my arrows upon them. They shall be burnt with hunger and with devoured with burning heat and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them with the poisons of serpents of the dust. Now you gotta sit back and look at this. Is a song that Moses is singing that Yah taught him to sing to the people. That's the Lord a lot of people overlook in Deuteronomy 32. And this man is 38 hot with us because of this idolatry, because we've forgotten this rock. We forgot that our rock works are perfect. We forgot that his ways were judgment. And we forgot that he was an Elohim of faith. We forsook that and cast it to the side. He said, the sword without and terror within shall destroy the young man and the virgin, the suckling also with the man of gray hairs. I said I would scatter them into corners. I would make the remembrance of them cease from among men. Were it not, listen to what he said. He said, were it not, I feared the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, or lest they should say, our hand is nigh, Yahuwah have not done all this. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise and that they understood this, and they would consider their latter end. Listen to what he said, oh, if they were wise, they would consider what would happen at them at the end. And that goes back to when we were talking about wisdom and knowledge being the stability of your times, or the faith of your time period on this earth. Because if you were wise, you're going to know what's going to happen to you based on your behavior. So let's look at something. Titus 3 and 11. I say knowing, no, that ain't what I want. It's actually Titus 2 and 11. No, we'll take verse 10. He say, not purloining, but showing all good fidelity, that they may adorn the doctrine of Elohim our Savior in all things. For the favor of Elohim that brings salvation have appeared unto all men, teaching us that denying ungodliness and worldly lust, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world. When we look at the law and all the things that are contained in it, that's what it was teaching us to do, was to deny lust or desires that were not godly. And then Mashiach came to show you that in the flesh of what it was like to manifest, to actually see a man sacrifice himself or to deny fleshly lusts and desires to the will of Elohim. Like we know what 1 Peter chapter 4 say. He that suffer in the flesh cease from sin. Because the whole book is about denial and self-control. And on top of that, most importantly, faith, because that faith will cause you to develop that self-control. But if you don't have a desire for that head or desire for that rock to be built upon it, then you're not going to hear the words of his sayings and do them. Therefore, you will not restrict yourself and deny yourself, and you'll make bad decisions. You'll choose a sinner to be married to. You'll choose sinners to hang with. You know what I'm talking about? You will choose ungodly things to do. You will worship idols in whatever form that the idolatry is found in. And if you get caught doing things that you have no business, you will make excuses for your sin and then blame other people for holding you accountable for what you did. Because, you know, that's a whole nother type of niggatry right there. When you try to get mad at other people because you're being held accountable for something you did. You know what I'm saying? Like I just told you, man, when I was locked up, the nigga talking about, man, God got us in here. Man, come on, bro. We in here for selling rocks, my nigga. Well, I am. I don't know what this nigga was in here for. You know what I'm saying? Who was saying it? Nigga, we facing years in prison, and you want to put it on the Most High. No, God ain't got nobody in here. You got yourself in here. That's what niggas love to scream. God got us in here to save our lives. No, nigga, you got caught. You ever thought this is punishment, nigga? Maybe there is a blessing that could come out of the punishment. But for most niggas that go to prison, there is no blessing. Them niggas go out, they go in and come out and do the same thing they did to get them to go in. You know what I'm talking about? And if they do stop committing crimes, a lot of them still live ungodly, or y'all forbid end up a false Christian. Not to say that happens to everybody, but we know the number that are actually hear the truth to be saved is small relative to the amount that's going to get out. Or, God forbid, they catch bad Israelite doctrine while they're in prison, because them niggas is in there. All across the country. I ain't run across now. Dude told me you ain't seen no Yahweh. I seen one Yahweh been Yahweh nigga the whole time I was in prison. Them niggas was out there worshiping that nigga picture. On the yard, nigga. Worshiping the picture of a man who was dead from colon cancer. No, prostate cancer. So this nigga had cancer in his butt. That's what he's dead from. He deserved to have cancer in his butt. He should have had it in his face. Hands, feet, knuckles, knees, and all that. This nigga was saying he was the son of Elohim. If any of y'all not familiar with it, but that's what he was doing. You should look at his name. That nigga say, I'm Yahweh, son of Yahweh. That name alone lets you know that nigga retarded. So you the son of yourself? Because that's what his name means. If he say my name is Yah ben Yah, I'm Yah, the son of Yah. So you the son of yourself. So you're a ventriloquist. And nobody questioned this nigga. And if y'all not familiar with this nigga had a $250 million empire in Miami. Owned and operated by nothing but Hebrews. This nigga had laundromats, grocery stores, dry cleaners, all of that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to look up the nigga doctrine, but you can definitely look up what the nigga had going on. And the nigga was locked up for murder. Because they say the nigga was a killer. That nigga name was...
Sit down.
I forgot what that nigga real name was. It's Hilton son. You know what I'm talking about? That nigga went to law school. All that. And if you read that nigga stuff, man, that nigga was a Mason, man. Around here talking about his name, Yah ben Yah, Yahweh. And guess what his son called himself? YBY. Stupid bastard. You know what I'm saying? Niggas love that nigga though. Follow him to the end. Verse 13. He say, looking for that Baruch hope and esteemed appearing of the great Elohim, our Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach, who gave himself that he might redeem us from all iniquity and purify unto himself a peculiar people zealous of good works. Because this what got that, because he had to do something. Because you hear all that rap, we supposed to be out of here. Because see, we didn't consider our latter end. You didn't consider that you was going to die. So he had to send a redeemer to cause you to not meet that end. See, like Paul wrote to the Thessalonians, he hasn't appointed us unto wrath but unto salvation by Yahushua HaMashiach, because we don't consider that latter end. You don't consider what's going to happen if you have sex with this man or sex with this woman or tell that lie or steal that money or worship that idol or fellowship with that sinner or, you know what I'm saying, none of that. Or marry like this. I'm telling you, I be telling you all the time, I see it too often, boy. These niggas so horny and so lonely, they'll marry anybody as if your main purpose and cause on this earth is to be married. You know what I'm saying? He didn't put you on the earth for that call. They say, well, the law say be fruitful and multiply. So marry a sinner to do it? So you can end up like Solomon and now, well, baby want an Ashtaroth pole in the house, so I got to go get a Christmas tree. I don't serve it, though. I ain't going to put no gifts under there. And I'm going to walk out of it with, and I'm going to look at it with with harsh derision in my eyes that I don't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? But that's what niggas do though. They'll come up with you don't agree with it, but you got a Christmas tree in your house. Thanksgiving it's not a sin. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you can come up with because you love these people more than you love y'all. Because it doesn't matter. Guess what? You know what you want to do? You want to have a big feast with your people? Set a day aside. Call all your family. Tell them nigga come to the house, my nigga. You bring this, you bring that, you bring this, you bring that, and we gonna eat. What you mean? You gotta wait for Mr. Charlie. So you need a cracker to tell you to go hang out with your people. That's what you tell them. I'm talking about for black people. You need a white man to tell you it's permissible for your son to cook. You know what I'm saying? Get what? Go in there and I was getting to that. That's a nigga excuse. But guess what though? Everybody off mostly Saturday and Sunday, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Every week, that's the part that killed me. Most of you niggas see you, these niggas. I just seen you last week, nigga. Cause now Mr. Charlie say we need to get together and eat. Now I don't love the family. Man, you go ahead on with all that, nigga. I don't want to hear that. Oh, for real though, niggas say somebody just had a baby shower the week before. Somebody just had a birthday party. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just came up to grandma's house. Now I don't love the family because I don't get together when the white man told you to do it. You know what I'm saying? Well, you should at least gonna come on crib, man. Absolutely not. I don't want none of that. I don't even want to come in here. I seen the niggas say I can't wait. You know what's crazy with niggas? Niggas don't eat chitlins no other time of the year but on that day. You niggas don't eat chitlins the other 364 days. Thanksgiving come around, these niggas want chitlins. I never understood that. How many times you see a nigga talking about they can't wait to eat chitlins before the third Thursday in November? Never. I ain't never seen a nigga in the middle of January talking about, boy, I'm finna go get me some chitlins. Who cooking chitlins? Oh, I could never eat them. My grandma would make it on one day. She would clean. That's what smell like. Booty in here. I'm good. You walking in, just smell like doo-doo. You want me to eat doo-doo? Nigga say if you clean it good enough, you ain't gonna taste it. Well, shoot, it's in my mouth because I smell it. It's in the whole house. I'm for real, man. When you walk in that house, smell them chitlins, boy, you want to go back out the door. I'm good, man. I don't want nothing to eat. I don't want nothing to eat. This thing. No, I didn't think about that because a girl I went to school with, it just popped in my head how she was talking about she couldn't wait for some chitlins and some hot sauce. And I'm like, I never seen nobody in any month of the year talk about no chitlins. Oh, they sell them year round. Don't think they don't sell pig rectum year round. They sell pig rectum year round. You can go to anywhere and get you some pig intestines now. So can. I mean, shoot, they sell cow tongue year round. It's whatever type of meat you want, they got it. Cow tongue. Niggas around here eating. I mean, we were young, them niggas talking about, I want some pig feet. You was a nasty buzzard. How you eat that? I ain't shocked that you eat pig because you look like you eat some pig feet. With some pickled pig feet at that. I don't care if she probably did eat pig feet, nigga. I don't know. I know I didn't eat it. Shoot. I know when I stopped eating pork though, my mama would throw it on the plate anyway, like I was gonna eat it. I ate around it too. That nigga figured it out after a while. Only time niggas around my way ate pig feet when that red truck came around, when the candy truck came around. That's all the time these niggas want some pig feet. Pig feet in the hot sauces. I said, well, you niggas gonna die. I already know, cause that's how I know you, because I already know you ate it. Yeah. I know Lisa was back there eating pig feet too.
No. My sausages. That was my job. Oh, yeah.
Man out here eating pig feet. That nigga, you look like you ate pig knuckles and all. That nigga Brandon was telling me the other day, he say, bruh, they got beef bacon. I say, man, I been knowing they had beef bacon. Oh yeah, the whole plate unclean. No, that nigga talking about, you want some pastrami? I say, bro, I done had pastrami before. It's beef bacon. I like, nigga, I don't want no pastrami. I'm real, he was talking about it last night. But I'm telling nigga, pastrami ain't nothing but some sandwich meat, niggas. You can go to the deli and get some pastrami. That nigga say it's beef bacon. He say it's raw bacon. I say nigga bacon raw period. Nigga, what you mean? He was just excited, man. That nigga like I can eat bacon again. And he say, bro, when I get my grill right, I'm gonna make you a double cheeseburger with some bacon on it. I say, nigga, I don't like bacon.
Thank you, bacon cheeseburger.
Well, he didn't know that. I guess he never heard of turkey bacon or something. I don't know. I don't like bacon at all. And I wasn't a big pork fan before that. You know what I'm saying? You know, Mom Dukes made pork. You know, nigga ate it because that's what she made. But I wasn't hankering for no pork every day. You know what I'm saying? I could have definitely did without it and wouldn't have been upset. Get out of here. They're going to get in the trunk. You know what I'm talking about? And lock yourself in there till you get back to the house. Talking about this hamburger. Ham. Unbelievable. Well, you could have kept that joke to yourself and laughed in the inside. Dry. That junk was dry. Deuteronomy 32. Why would we be upset because you told a bad joke? Nigga say y'all mad cause I'm mad cause you told a bad joke. This nigga here. We at Deuteronomy 32 and 30. 32 and 30. Listen, right? He said, how should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight except their rock had sold them and Yahuwah had shut them up? He said, for their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. Now I'm going to ask y'all a question. Verse 31. How can we reconcile that? Where do you think that you could go to see how their rock is not like our rock and that our enemies have judged that their rock is not like our rock? Can we pull an example of this? I do have one already in store, but I want to see what y'all think.
What was that? When they do an offering.
The who?
Offering.
You got that one there, but you know what I'm talking about? You can use that one there because he brought the prophets of Baal out. And that is, you can use that one there because they were proving that their rock was not up like our rock. But I got another one in mind. Ooh, you almost hit your head, Gail. Go sit down, boy. Anybody got an example? Going once? Going twice? Sold the 1 Samuel chapter 5 and verse 1. Five and 1. Let's see how their rock is not like our rock, and that our enemies bear witness and judge within themselves that it was not. And the Philistines took the ark of Elohim and brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod. And when the Philistines took the ark of Elohim, they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. And when they of Ashdod arose early on the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen upon the face to the earth before the ark of Yahuwah. And they took Dagon and set him in his place again. And when they arose early on the morning, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground before the ark of Yahuwah, and the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were cut off upon the threshold. Only the stump of Dagon was left to him. Therefore, neither the priest of Dagon nor any that come into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon and Ashdod unto this day. You know how dumb you got to be to not walk on the threshold because something you made with your own hands was decapitated and dismembered? So in that they're judging in themselves that their rock is not like our rock because their rock couldn't even stop his head, arms, and legs from being cut off. Who can go cut off y'all's head, arms, and legs? No one. But the hand of Yahuwah was heavy upon them of Ashdod, and he destroyed them and smote them with emerods, even Ashdod and the coast thereof. And when the men of Ashdod saw it was so, they said, the ark of the Elohim of Yasharal shall not abide with us, for his hand is sore upon us, and upon Dagon our God. So their God couldn't even fight back. So our enemies have judged that their rock is not like our rock because he can't even defend himself. He getting his head cut off. He can't even save his people for getting emerods and boils on their body. He can't even save his own people. Where is Dagon at? Or just like what you mentioned with Elijah. He said, where is your God at? Is he sleeping? Maybe he's on a long journey. Maybe he got wax in his ears and he just didn't hear you call out while you're sitting here like an idiot cutting your arms. And guess what? All them people said about they celebrate. See, this is what these people like to do, right? They like to say Jesus ain't real. This, that, because he ain't saved none of y'all yet. Well, of course he ain't saved none of these niggas. They sinners. So why would he save them? He said they've been calling on him. He ain't got nobody yet. Don't try to blame Yahuwah because these niggas worshiping an idol god. Don't you realize every Christmas these people show that they rock is not like our rock? Because guess who they give credit for the gifts to? A fat white man that like little children to sit on his genitalia. When they quote unquote New Year come, they don't give praise to God. They give praise to a two-faced God. Because we looking in the back and we looking in the front. Because that's what Janice said. Janice got two faces. When Easter come around, they showing their rock is not like our rock because they give honor to Ashtaroth because she's the goddess of fertility. So we thankful. Why you think they laying all them eggs out there? Because we hoping we can have some kids this year. Hoping we can reproduce. That's the purpose of laying the eggs out there. I was never big on that Easter egg hunt crap. Man, I'm not going to be running around here looking for eggs. If you're going to shoot me some candy, man, shoot the basket. That's how I felt, man. Shoot the basket. Because all the nigga wanted was some candy. Nigga, I don't want to be out here. Let's find the eggs. That was lame to me. Like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. Who wants to do that? Running around here looking for eggs. Hard-boiled eggs at that. So these eggs is warm. They've been outside all day. And then when you eat them, you're going to be farting and the whole house going to be stank. You know what I'm saying? Nigga don't want that, man. Just shoot me the basket. Then you got that big grown man in a bunny suit. I don't want to take pictures with no bunny, nigga. Like, you got to sit and really think about the stuff they have us participating in. You know what I'm talking about? Nevertheless, what it is, man. Come on back to Deuteronomy 32. Matter of fact, we could stop right there because that's a whole nother topic. So praise y'all for Yahushua and the word. We stop right there.